As President Donald Trump embarks on his second term, the U.S. economy faces a troubling new chapter marked by contraction. For the first time in 3 years, economic growth has faltered, with the latest data revealing a 0.3% annual decline in gross domestic product (GDP) during the first quarter of 2025. This unexpected downturn raises significant concerns about the implications of Trump's renewed trade policies and their effects on both domestic and global markets. Heading into April, economists had anticipated a modest growth trajectory for the U.S. economy, buoyed by a strong performance in the previous years. The Wall Street Journal had projected positive outcomes, but those expectations quickly unraveled as the Commerce Department released figures that contradicted predictions. The New York Times attributed this economic shift to Trump's aggressive tariff policies, which have disrupted financial markets and international trade patterns. President Trump's tariffs have roiled financial markets and upended global trading patterns, noted the Times, highlighting how the president's decisions are starting to bear fruit in unexpected ways. The significant slowdown in GDP growth starkly contrasts with the steady quarterly growth of around 3% experienced over the previous 4 years, provoking fears that the economy may be entering a more troubling phase under the current administration. In the wake of this economic news, the White House's response seemed to lack clarity. A deputy press secretary suggested that any blame for the downturn should be placed on former President Joe Biden, citing the fact that Biden was still in office for part of January. Conversely, trade advisor Peter Navarro attempted to frame the disappointing figures as encouraging, arguing that they were skewed by companies rushing to make purchases before the implementation of new tariffs. Yet the reality remains that these tariffs, set to take effect shortly after the quarter ended, are likely to exacerbate the economic situation. The chaotic economic landscape presents a contrast to the robust conditions that Trump inherited in 2021, when the economy was characterized by low unemployment, rising wages, and falling inflation rates. A New York Times analysis highlighted that Trump returned to a vibrant economy, which may further complicate public perceptions of his economic management. The president's approach to economic policy has drawn skepticism from leading economists, while Trump remains confident, stating that great times are ahead. Experts like Constance Hunter from the Economist Intelligence Unit have placed a striking 80% probability on the U.S. entering a recession within the next year as a direct consequence of his trade policies. Hunter emphasized that a reduction in tariffs and greater economic certainty would be essential for reversing these recession forecasts. As Trump doubles down on his trade war with China, claiming that tariffs will not negatively impact American consumers but rather that China will probably eat the costs, economic analysts caution against such optimism. Major publications including The Economist have warned that Americans could soon feel the repercussions of these trade policies, with empty shelves becoming a reality if Chinese imports are significantly reduced. The implications of these economic developments extend beyond the United States, as countries like Hungary grapple with the fallout from similar trade tensions. The interconnectedness of global economies raises the stakes for U.S. policy decisions. Hungary's increasing reliance on crony capitalism and its strained relations with the European Union showcase how economic mismanagement can lead to broader instability, a scenario that could mirror trends in the U.S. if current policies persist. As the dust settles on this first quarter of contraction, the future remains uncertain. Trump's administration faces the dual challenge of navigating a faltering economy while justifying its trade policies to a wary public. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether the administration can pivot away from this economic downturn or if the repercussions of its decisions will lead to a more prolonged period of instability. Observers will be watching closely, as the trajectory of the U.S. economy could set the tone for Trump's entire term and influence the broader global economic landscape. In the ever-evolving landscape of global politics and economic strategies, two significant narratives emerged this week that are capturing attention across the United States. The first revolves around the upcoming papal conclave following the death of Pope Francis, while the second centers on the economic development policies in Indiana underscored by recent controversies within the Indiana Economic Development Corporation (IEDC). As the world prepares for the selection of a new pope, former President Donald Trump has made headlines with his remarks about potential candidates for the papacy. In a light-hearted exchange with reporters, Trump expressed a desire to assume the role himself, jokingly stating, "I'd like to be pope. That would be my number one choice." However, he also highlighted Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, as a dark horse candidate who could make history as the first American pope. While Dolan has been a prominent figure in the Catholic Church, experts caution that Trump's endorsement may not significantly sway the cardinals, who traditionally prioritize spiritual qualifications over political affiliations. Miles Pattenden, a historian of the Catholic Church at Oxford, remarked, "It doesn't seem very likely that Timothy Dolan will be elected pope." This skepticism is compounded by the broader context of the conclave, which is expected to be the most geographically diverse in history, potentially diminishing the chances for an American to ascend to the papacy. Simultaneously in Indiana, a critical examination of the state's economic development policies has been prompted by significant accounting issues within the IEDC. Governor Mike Braun's decision to order an independent audit has unveiled deeper concerns about the agency's mission and effectiveness. Michael Hicks, a noted economist and director of the Center for Business and Economic Research at Ball State University, argues that the IEDC has strayed from its original purpose of supporting businesses and fostering economic growth. Instead, it has taken on responsibilities akin to a real estate development firm, a shift that Hicks criticizes as detrimental to Indiana's economic health. The IEDC needs to get out of the real estate development business, he asserts, emphasizing that economic growth should be driven by the private sector rather than government interventions. The juxtaposition of these two narratives highlights a broader theme of leadership and accountability in both religious and political spheres. As the Catholic Church faces a pivotal moment in its history, the implications of Trump's involvement and the potential selection of a new pope remain to be seen. Similarly, Indiana's economic future hangs in the balance as policymakers grapple with the fallout from the IEDC's recent missteps. The outcomes of these events will likely shape both public sentiment and institutional strategies in the months to come. In conclusion, as the conclave approaches and Indiana reassesses its economic development strategies, the interplay between political influence and institutional integrity will undoubtedly continue to be a focal point of discussion. With the next pope potentially set to influence global Catholicism and Indiana's economic policies in flux, observers are keenly watching how these narratives unfold in the coming weeks. In a world where the pursuit of happiness and wealth often dominates public discourse, a new paradigm is emerging, encouraging individuals to aspire toward a more profound state of existence known as flourishing. This concept, which emphasizes holistic well-being over mere happiness or financial security, has gained traction following the release of findings from a groundbreaking global study led by Tyler J. Vanderweel, a professor at Harvard University. The study, known as the Global Flourishing Study (GFS), involved over 200,000 participants across 22 countries and aims to explore the factors that contribute to a fulfilling life. Vanderweel's inquiry into human flourishing began during his tenure as a biostatistician at the University of Chicago, where he became dissatisfied with the narrow metrics typically used to evaluate well-being. Traditional measures often focus on symptoms of mental health, economic conditions, or physical health markers, leaving a significant gap regarding the deeper human need for meaning and purpose. In his influential 2017 paper, Vanderweel articulated a vision of flourishing as a state where all aspects of a person's life, including mental, physical, and spiritual dimensions, are harmoniously aligned. The concept of flourishing is particularly significant because it allows for diverse pathways to fulfillment. Vanderweel notes, "Not every measurable element of a person's life must be perfect to flourish. This flexibility acknowledges that what gives life meaning is deeply personal and can vary widely among individuals, resonating with their core values and aspirations." As the latest results from the GFS were published in the journal Nature Mental Health, van der Wiel and his colleagues revealed alarming insights regarding the state of flourishing around the globe. Notably, the study highlighted a concerning trend among young adults aged 18 to 29 who reported lower levels of flourishing compared to older generations. The most concerning thing to me is that young people in many countries are not doing well, van der Wiel remarked, emphasizing the implications for policy and the urgent need to prioritize youth well-being. The GFS measured flourishing across 6 key domains: happiness and life satisfaction, mental and physical health, meaning and purpose, character and virtue, close social relationships, and financial and material security. Disturbingly, the data indicated a flattening of the U-shaped curve of life satisfaction that traditionally suggests higher satisfaction in youth and old age, with middle-aged individuals experiencing lower levels. Instead, the latest findings suggest that those aged 18 to 29 are struggling notably in various countries, including the United States, Australia, and Germany. The causes of this decline in flourishing among younger populations are complex and multifaceted. Social scientists point to several factors, including the rising cost of living, the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, job market uncertainties, and the deterioration of social institutions. The World Happiness Report corroborates these findings, revealing that in 2023, 19% of young adults globally reported a lack of social support, a sharp increase from 2006. Brandon Kwok, a 24-year-old from Singapore who has faced his own mental health challenges, exemplifies the struggles many young adults encounter today. "The biggest thing that's affecting my generation is anxiety," he stated. In response, he actively seeks social interactions through sports and community service, illustrating a proactive approach to combating feelings of isolation. Interestingly, the GFS also uncovered a paradox regarding income and flourishing. Contrary to expectations, lower-income countries often reported higher levels of meaning and purpose compared to their wealthier counterparts. Van der Wiel noted that while developed nations like the United States exhibit greater financial security, they do not necessarily score higher in relational fulfillment or prosocial character traits. Third world countries consistently outperform those in the first world in meaning and purpose, stated Byron R. Johnson from Baylor University, highlighting a surprising disconnect between economic prosperity and personal fulfillment. Among the countries surveyed, Indonesia emerged as a standout, boasting the highest average flourishing scores despite its relatively low GDP per capita. This finding suggests that strong social cohesion, cultural diversity, and a profound sense of community contribute significantly to individual well-being. In places where there are real economic struggles, there is still a deep sense of social orientation and a sense of meaning, van der Wiel added, pointing to a critical lesson for more affluent societies. As the GFS continues to track participants over time, researchers hope to clarify the causative relationships between various factors in flourishing, paving the way for targeted interventions to enhance well-being. Meanwhile, van der Wiel's team advocates for community engagement as a crucial step toward flourishing. Small changes such as participating in group activities, volunteering, and fostering social connections can lead to significant improvements in individual well-being. The findings from the Global Flourishing Study serve as both a wake-up call and a guide for individuals and policymakers alike. With an increasing number of people experiencing feelings of isolation and anxiety, the urgency to cultivate community and foster meaningful connections has never been more paramount. As van der Wiel succinctly puts it, what we really need more of is one another. Looking ahead, the study offers hope that by prioritizing flourishing, societies can cultivate a more enriched and fulfilling existence for all. In a remarkable display of growth and resilience, SoFi Technologies Incorporated has captured the attention of investors after its stock surged by 22% following a robust quarterly earnings report that not only exceeded Wall Street expectations but also prompted the company to raise its full-year guidance. The fintech firm, known for its innovative approach to financial services, attributed its impressive performance to what it describes as a growth flywheel, a strategic model designed to enhance customer acquisition and retention while driving revenue. For the quarter, SoFi reported earnings that surpassed analysts' forecasts, showcasing a revenue increase fueled by a growing user base and the expansion of its product offerings. In a statement, SoFi CEO Anthony Noto emphasized the company's commitment to building a comprehensive financial ecosystem, stating, "We are not just a lending platform, we are a multifaceted financial services provider that meets the diverse needs of our members." This holistic approach appears to resonate with consumers, as the company noted a significant uptick in account signups and engagement across its various services, including personal loans, mortgage refinancing, and investment options. The positive momentum comes at a critical time for SoFi, which has faced challenges in a competitive fintech landscape. The company's ability to adapt and thrive amid economic uncertainty speaks to its strategic foresight. Notably, SoFi's decision to diversify its offerings beyond simple lending products has positioned it favorably against traditional banks and emerging fintech competitors. This diversification strategy has resulted in increased customer loyalty and a more sustainable revenue model. Market analysts are optimistic about SoFi's future, with many predicting continued growth as the company capitalizes on the increasing trend of consumers seeking digital financial solutions. According to a report by Goldman Sachs, the online banking sector is expected to grow significantly in the coming years, driven by changing consumer preferences and advancements in technology. SoFi is well positioned to leverage these trends, particularly as it continues to innovate and expand its product suite. However, challenges remain. The fintech sector is rapidly evolving, and SoFi must navigate regulatory hurdles and increasing competition. Additionally, rising interest rates could impact the borrowing landscape, affecting demand for loans. Nevertheless, Noto remains confident, affirming, "While the environment is always changing, our focus on building a member-centric platform will guide our path forward." As SoFi continues to execute its growth strategy, the company is expected to keep a close eye on market dynamics and consumer behavior. The recent stock surge reflects not only investor confidence but also a growing recognition of SoFi's potential to disrupt the traditional financial services industry. Looking ahead, the company's ability to maintain this growth trajectory will be closely watched, and many will be eager to see how it adapts to the ever-evolving financial landscape. With its sights set firmly on the future, SoFi may well be on the cusp of establishing itself as a leader in the digital finance space. In a rapidly evolving global landscape, recent developments in economics and cultural celebrations highlight the dynamic interplay of commerce and community. On April 29, 2025, the financial markets saw a significant uptick as the White House signaled promising trade negotiations, while Memphis prepared to celebrate the rich tapestry of Asian American and Pacific Islander cuisine with the return of the Hungry Tiger food tour. The stock market's swing upward can be attributed to remarks made by Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who hinted at a forthcoming trade deal that could ease the anxiety gripping investors. "I have a deal done, but I need to wait for their prime minister and their parliament to give its approval, which I expect shortly," Lutnick stated during a CNBC appearance, though he did not specify the countries involved. This announcement, coupled with the administration's decision to reduce tariffs on auto parts, has injected optimism into the market, leading to a rally in stock prices. Major European indices also reflected this positive sentiment, opening higher as investors responded to the easing of trade tensions. The implications of these trade negotiations are significant, particularly for the automotive sector, which has faced scrutiny due to high tariffs that were set to expire soon. The White House confirmed that foreign auto firms would not face additional levies on steel and aluminum, further reinforcing the bullish outlook among investors. As the global economy continues to navigate through uncertainties, such developments could serve as a catalyst for sustained recovery. Simultaneously, Memphis is set to embrace cultural diversity with the return of the Hungry Tiger food tour, an event dedicated to showcasing Asian American and Pacific Islander cuisine. Scheduled for later this month, the tour aims to celebrate the contributions of these communities to the culinary landscape of Memphis. Participants can expect a vibrant array of dishes and flavors reflecting the rich heritage and traditions that characterize Asian American and Pacific Islander cultures. Events like this not only promote cultural understanding but also support local businesses and foster community engagement. As the world grapples with complex economic challenges and cultural narratives, the intersection of trade policy and community celebration offers a glimpse of hope and resilience. Looking ahead, continued dialogue around trade agreements will be crucial in shaping economic stability, while initiatives that honor cultural diversity will play an essential role in enriching societal fabric. The future promises to be one of both challenge and opportunity. As communities and economies strive to adapt in an ever-changing environment. In the tumultuous landscape of financial markets, UBS Group AG and Barclays plc have emerged as unexpected winners amid the chaos ignited by the Trump administration's aggressive tariff policies. The first quarter earnings reports from these European banks, released amid a whirlwind of stock and bond volatility, suggest that they are capitalizing on the current market dynamics, at least for the time being. However, these results may obscure deeper vulnerabilities that could pose challenges in the near future. As Paul J. Davies, a Bloomberg opinion columnist, points out, the recent swings in stock prices and bond yields have provided a lucrative environment for trading desks at UBS and Barclays. Hedge funds, buoyed by a sense of confidence at the year's outset, have driven up revenues from equities trading. This uptick has been mirrored in the fixed income sector, where heightened volatility has created opportunities for banks to capture greater market share. However, this apparent success may be misleading, as the ongoing uncertainty surrounding U.S. tariff policies threatens to sideline investors, leading to potential fatigue in market engagement. Despite their strong performance, UBS and Barclays are facing stiff competition from their American counterparts, particularly Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan Chase & Company. In the realm of fixed income trading, Barclays and Deutsche Bank AG appear to be gaining ground, which may signal a willingness to take on increased risk in financing debt trading hedge funds and private asset managers. This strategy, while potentially rewarding, also raises concerns about the sustainability of their growth trajectory in an unpredictable market. The broader economic landscape is heavily influenced by the ongoing fallout from the Trump administration's tariff war, which has created significant volatility across various sectors. With cargo shipments reportedly down by as much as 60%, the repercussions are beginning to ripple through the economy, raising alarms about impending supply shortages and layoffs in industries reliant on smooth trade flows. The auto industry, for instance, has been vocal about the potential adverse effects of tariffs, leading to a recent easing of certain duties by the administration in response to intense lobbying. Amid these developments, President Trump has defended the hefty tariffs imposed on Chinese imports, asserting that China would eat the costs and that the U.S. consumer impact would be minimal. However, this rhetoric contrasts sharply with the reality faced by businesses, many of which are already experiencing rising prices and shrinking inventories. Notably, companies like Amazon have begun to highlight tariff-related price increases on their platforms, bringing the impact of these policies directly to consumers. As the administration navigates the complexities of trade relations, there are indications that it is considering phased tariff reductions and reviving trade talks with various nations. However, substantive negotiations with China remain elusive, leaving uncertainty in their wake. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has emphasized that it is ultimately up to China to de-escalate tensions, given the significant trade imbalance that favors the U.S. Looking forward, the interplay between market dynamics and ongoing tariff implications will be crucial for both UBS and Barclays as they seek to maintain their competitive edge. While current earnings may suggest a temporary victory in this volatile landscape, the risk of complacency looms large. As investor sentiment shifts in response to evolving economic conditions, these banks will need to navigate the fine line between risk-taking and safeguarding against potential downturns. In conclusion, as the market grapples with the reverberations of tariff policies, the resilience of UBS and Barclays will be tested. The complexities of the current economic environment, influenced by both domestic and international factors, will undoubtedly shape the trajectory of these financial institutions in the months to come. Future developments in trade negotiations and market reactions will be pivotal as they strive to sustain their momentum amid growing uncertainties. In a striking development for the scientific community, the journal Environmental Health Perspectives (EHP) has announced a halt in the acceptance of new submissions, a decision attributed to significant cuts in federal funding from the National Institutes of Health (NIH). For over half a century, EHP has been a cornerstone in publishing peer-reviewed studies examining the health implications of environmental toxins, providing invaluable insights without charging fees to readers or researchers. The journal's suspension raises serious concerns about the future of environmental health research and public access to critical information. Joel Kaufman, the journal's editor-in-chief, cited a lack of confidence in the renewal of essential contracts for operational expenses such as copy editing and editorial software as the driving force behind this decision. Kaufman refrained from speculating on the journal's long-term viability, but the implications are profound. If the journal is indeed lost, it is a huge loss, lamented Jonathan Levy, a prominent figure in environmental health at Boston University. He emphasized that the journal has historically provided essential data that informs public policy and individual decision-making. This troubling news follows recent actions by the Trump administration, which have drawn scrutiny regarding the perceived bias of scientific journals. Just weeks prior, a federal prosecutor sent letters to various prestigious journals, including the New England Journal of Medicine, questioning their objectivity and hinting at external pressures influencing their editorial choices. The editor of NEJM described the correspondence as vaguely threatening, reflecting a broader trend of skepticism and hostility towards scientific research under the current administration. The cuts to EHP come at a time when the Trump administration has professed a commitment to understanding the environmental factors contributing to chronic diseases, a stated priority that seemingly contradicts the funding reductions faced by the journal. This dissonance has not gone unnoticed. Levy noted the irony that the administration's actions clash with its own rhetoric regarding transparency and public access to scientific information. EHP is not alone in facing such challenges. A draft budget proposal for the Department of Health and Human Services revealed plans to cut funding for two other significant journals published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention: Emerging Infectious Diseases and Preventing Chronic Disease. Both journals have played pivotal roles in providing free access to vital research, and their potential closure is alarming to experts like Jason Kondruchik, a virologist who has published research in emerging infectious diseases. He described the prospect of losing these journals as very disheartening, underscoring their importance in shaping response strategies to health threats. Amidst this backdrop of uncertainty, a recent survey conducted by social psychologists at the University of Amsterdam sheds light on the growing distrust in science among American conservatives. The study found that individuals identifying as right-leaning were significantly more skeptical of scientific professions, particularly in fields such as climate science, which often challenge conservative viewpoints. This skepticism extends even to technical sciences that may align with conservative economic interests, revealing a troubling trend that could hinder consensus on critical issues like climate change and public health. As scientists, policymakers, and the public grapple with these unfolding events, the fate of environmental health perspectives serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of scientific discourse in the face of political pressures. The increasing distrust in scientific institutions, combined with funding cuts that threaten the dissemination of vital research, could have lasting repercussions on public health and environmental policy. The future of scientific inquiry and its role in informing public policy hangs in the balance. As professionals and advocates in the field of environmental health rally to address these issues, the resilience of platforms like EHP may depend on a renewed commitment to supporting open access research and fostering a culture that values scientific integrity over political expediency. The coming months will be critical in determining whether this will be a moment of reckoning or a catalyst for change in how we prioritize and fund scientific research. In recent years, the intersection of maternal nutrition and pregnancy outcomes has gained increasing attention in the medical community. A new study from Italy published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition sheds light on this area by evaluating the relationship between maternal nutritional status in the first trimester and early placental function. The research known as the SIMPLE study offers crucial insights that could inform clinical practices around prenatal care. Conducted by a team of researchers from various Italian institutions, the SIMPLE study involved a longitudinal multicenter observational approach focusing on healthy women with singleton pregnancies. The study recruited 2,363 participants who underwent first trimester prenatal screening, where they were assigned a simple nutritional score based on their dietary intake. Alongside this score, early placental markers, including pregnancy-associated plasma protein A, PAP-A and free beta-HCG, were measured, and ultrasound assessments of placental volume were conducted. The results of the study revealed that 325 women were classified as being at high nutritional risk, indicated by a simple score of less than 6. Notably, the study found significant associations between nutritional scores and early placental markers. Specifically, women with scores of 6 or above demonstrated higher first trimester PAP-A concentrations compared to those scoring below 6. This finding suggests that a better nutritional status may correlate with improved placental function early in pregnancy. Moreover, the study also highlighted the implications of maternal nutrition on delivery outcomes. The rate of emergency cesarean sections was lower among women with higher simple scores, with odds ratios indicating a significant difference. Additionally, first trimester hemoglobin levels above 110 g/L corresponded with favorable birth weights and placental weights, further underscoring the importance of maternal nutrition on both placental health and fetal growth. Dr. Francesca Parisi, one of the study's lead authors, stated, "Our findings support the incorporation of the simple nutritional score in clinical practice as a predictive tool for early placental development and pregnancy outcomes. This underscores a growing consensus that nutritional assessments could play a vital role in prenatal care, allowing for targeted interventions that may improve both maternal and fetal health." As the study concludes, it opens the door for future research to explore how interventions aimed at improving maternal nutrition could reduce risks associated with adverse pregnancy outcomes. Given the rising focus on holistic approaches to healthcare, integrating nutritional evaluations in prenatal visits may not only enhance the health of mothers and babies but also contribute to more informed clinical decision-making. In conclusion, the SIMPLE study stands as a pivotal contribution to our understanding of the significance of maternal nutrition during the early stages of pregnancy. With a clearer connection between dietary habits and placental function, healthcare providers may soon have a powerful tool at their disposal to promote healthier pregnancies, ultimately leading to better outcomes for mothers and infants alike. The implications of this research are far-reaching, suggesting that a proactive approach to maternal nutrition could be a key strategy in enhancing prenatal care. In a landscape where innovation and strategic engagement define success, the finalists for the 2025 Digiday Media Awards showcase the remarkable ways brands are harnessing technology to foster deeper connections with their audiences. Among this year's standout contenders are Adobe, Harvard Business Review, and Disney Advertising, each exemplifying how creativity, technology, and measurable outcomes can reshape the media and marketing landscape. Adobe has made waves with its innovative campaign aimed at enhancing the user experience for Photoshop enthusiasts. Recognized as a finalist for Best Use of Audience Insights, Adobe tackled a common challenge: the struggle many users face in remembering keyboard shortcuts. By employing a catchy jingle alongside dynamic visuals and a choreographed finger dance across a Photoshop-themed keyboard, Adobe transformed a mundane learning process into an engaging experience. This playful yet educational approach resonated with audiences, racking up over 1 million views on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and generating significant engagement through shares and saves. Creativity can turn learning into an entertaining experience, stated an Adobe representative, highlighting the campaign's dual purpose of education and engagement. Meanwhile, the Harvard Business Review's Women at Work podcast has been nominated for Best Podcast, celebrated for its insightful exploration of the professional challenges faced by women and non-binary individuals. The show, hosted by Amy Bernstein and Amy Gallo, combines research, lived experiences, and actionable advice, addressing critical topics such as workplace anxiety and the integration of AI into careers. Its expansion across newsletters, events, and social media has cultivated a vibrant community, providing support and empowerment to listeners at every stage of their professional journey. In a newly introduced category, Disney advertising has garnered recognition as a finalist for Sales Team of the Year. Under the leadership of Rita Farrow, Disney's sales team has redefined client engagement through a unified, always-on approach. By leveraging Disney's unparalleled portfolio and innovative ad technology, the team has successfully delivered results across diverse sectors, including sports and streaming. Initiatives like Disney Compass and Magic Words have significantly enhanced real-time brand engagement, contributing to a substantial 10% year-over-year increase in streaming volume across Hulu and Disney+. Additionally, Disney's strategic growth in programmatic deals and partnerships within women's sports reflects an evolving marketplace that prioritizes inclusivity and engagement. The finalists not only represent a commitment to innovation but also demonstrate the power of technology to create meaningful interactions with audiences. This year's entries reveal a remarkable blend of creativity and strategy, showcasing how brands can effectively engage with communities and transform client relationships. As the Digit Media Awards approach, these stories underscore a pivotal trend. The integration of advanced technology is enabling brands to deliver measurable impact, setting new standards for success in the media and marketing industry. As we look ahead, the convergence of creativity, technology, and data-driven strategies will undoubtedly continue to shape the future of media and marketing. The recognition of these finalists serves as a testament to the potential that lies in innovative approaches. And it will be intriguing to see how these trends evolve in the coming years. In a world grappling with unprecedented geopolitical tensions and domestic challenges, the latest developments from April 30, 2025 reveal a landscape rife with complexity and uncertainty. From the specter of military conflict in South Asia to evolving political dynamics in North America, these events underscore the intricate interplay between international relations, domestic policies, and global security. Tensions between nuclear-armed neighbors India and Pakistan have escalated, with Pakistan's information minister citing credible intelligence of imminent military action by India. This claim follows accusations by New Delhi that Islamabad was involved in a deadly attack in Kashmir, which Pakistan vehemently denies. Both the United States and China have urged restraint, emphasizing the need for diplomatic dialogue to prevent a potentially catastrophic escalation. The U.S. State Department has indicated plans to engage with both nations to de-escalate the situation, highlighting the international community's concern over regional stability. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Canada's political landscape is shifting as Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal Party fell just short of a parliamentary majority in recent elections, securing 169 out of 343 seats. This outcome necessitates coalition building with smaller parties, a task that may prove challenging given the conservative opposition's strength. President Trump, acknowledging Carney's success, expressed intentions to meet with the Prime Minister, potentially opening avenues for further bilateral cooperation amidst a backdrop of fluctuating international relations. In the Middle East, a tragic explosion at Tehran's largest port has left 70 dead, prompting Iranian officials to investigate discrepancies in cargo documentation linked to the blast. The investigation raises questions about regulatory oversight and the safety of hazardous materials in transit, underscoring the need for stringent controls to prevent future disasters. Cybersecurity concerns have also taken center stage as France accused Russian military intelligence of nearly a decade of cyberattacks targeting French government entities, defense contractors, and media outlets. This revelation not only highlights the ongoing threat of state-sponsored cyber warfare but also reflects the broader challenges faced by nations in safeguarding critical infrastructure against hostile actors. Closer to the ground, sectarian violence has erupted in Syria, claiming at least 12 lives following the circulation of an inflammatory audio clip. This incident underscores the fragile nature of social cohesion in a country still recovering from years of conflict. With the Syrian government urging calm in the face of rising tensions. In the Asia-Pacific region, the Philippines has signed a military agreement with New Zealand aimed at strengthening security partnerships amid escalating tensions with China in the South China Sea. This move reflects a broader shift among countries in the region to bolster military cooperation as they navigate the complexities of regional security dynamics. Germany's political scene is also evolving as the center-left Social Democrats prepare to join a coalition government, paving the way for the conservative Friedrich Merz to take the chancellorship. This shift may alter the trajectory of Germany's domestic and foreign policy, particularly concerning defense spending, as both Germany and Greece seek EU approval for increased investments in military capabilities in response to shifting geopolitical landscapes. On the economic front, the U.S. is experiencing a contraction in GDP, attributed to surging imports that reflect businesses stockpiling ahead of potential tariffs. This economic slowdown, coupled with rising inflation and declining consumer sentiment, raises concerns about the potential onset of a recession, prompting analysts to reassess forecasts for economic recovery. In the realm of U.S. Foreign Policy, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is contemplating significant changes, including the potential elimination of the U.S. Security Coordinator position for the West Bank and Gaza. This role has been critical in managing Israeli-Palestinian relations, and its removal could exacerbate tensions in an already fragile region. As the Trump administration grapples with various domestic and international challenges, including immigration reform and ongoing litigation related to its policies, the implications of these developments will likely reverberate across sectors. Notably, a federal judge has mandated the reinstatement of funding for Radio Free Europe, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a balance of power and constitutional integrity amid contentious political maneuvers. In conclusion, as the world navigates these multifaceted challenges, the interconnected nature of geopolitical events underscores the need for strategic diplomacy and cooperation. Observers will be keenly watching how these dynamics unfold, particularly in regions marked by instability and conflict. The coming weeks and months will be critical in determining whether governments can effectively manage these crises and foster a more secure global environment. In a world increasingly captivated by the enigma of consciousness, a fierce debate has emerged surrounding one of the leading theories that attempts to explain this complex phenomenon: integrated information theory (IIT). As researchers delve deeper into the nature of consciousness, the discussion has grown heated, with critics labeling IIT as pseudoscience and warning of its potential implications on sensitive societal issues such as abortion and artificial intelligence. This fierce contention underscores not only the scientific community's struggle with the very definition of consciousness, but also the broader ethical considerations that accompany such discussions. IIT posits that consciousness can be quantified mathematically, suggesting that it resides on a spectrum defined by the integration of information processed by a system. Proponents of the theory argue that it provides a valuable framework for understanding conscious experience, while detractors contend that it lacks empirical validation and could lead to troubling consequences if applied to debates about sentience and personhood. The criticisms against IIT seem to stem from a misunderstanding or jealousy, argues one of the theory's advocates, who emphasizes the need for rigorous exploration of consciousness without the specter of ideological bias. As this debate unfolds, it highlights the broader questions that scientists have grappled with for decades. What is consciousness? How does it arise from the physical processes of the brain? While IIT and another prominent theory, global neuronal workspace theory (GNWT), vie for prominence, the search for definitive answers remains elusive. As researchers continue to explore these theories, the ramifications of their findings could significantly influence not just scientific understanding but also societal norms and ethical frameworks. In the realm of environmental science, a new study reveals alarming insights into the pervasive issue of microplastics in our oceans. A comprehensive survey has shown that these tiny plastic particles are not confined to the surface but are distributed throughout the water column, reaching even the deepest oceanic trenches. It's millions and millions of metric tons of this stuff throughout the interiors of the ocean, asserts Tracy Mincer from Florida Atlantic University, emphasizing the scale of this growing problem. The research, which analyzed nearly 2,000 sites globally, found microplastics present at depths of up to 7 kilometers, including the Mariana Trench, where concentrations reached over 13,000 particles per cubic meter. This widespread distribution raises significant concerns about the ecological consequences, particularly regarding the ocean's ability to sequester carbon. Microplastics could potentially interfere with the biological carbon pump, an essential process through which carbon is removed from the atmosphere and stored in ocean depths. As scientists unravel the intricate relationships between microplastics and carbon dynamics, Douglas Macaulay from the University of California, Santa Barbara emphasizes that the implications of these findings cannot be overlooked. The study sheds light on the discrepancies between estimates of plastic entering the oceans and the amounts actually measured, highlighting a critical need for further research and understanding the environmental impact of these pollutants. Meanwhile, in a remarkable intersection of biology and materials science, researchers at the University of California, San Diego are leveraging the unique properties of morpho butterfly wings to develop a novel technique for studying cancer. The vivid blue hue of these wings, produced not by pigments but by structural color, offers a new method for examining biological tissues without the need for staining or expensive optical machinery. This innovative approach utilizes polarized light to enhance the visibility of fibrous structures within tissues, which can be indicative of disease progression. By aligning a morpho wing with tissue samples under a microscope, the researchers have created a cost-effective tool that could revolutionize diagnostics, particularly in resource-limited settings. This method is simpler and more accessible, allowing for real-time assessments of tissue without altering its natural state, notes Lisa Polikakos, a materials scientist involved in the research. As this technique evolves, it holds promise not only for cancer diagnosis but also for a broader range of medical applications, demonstrating the potential of biomimicry in advancing scientific understanding in healthcare solutions. In a sobering reminder of the interconnectedness of our global climate system, researchers have issued a dire warning regarding the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation (AMOC). A recent study suggests that changes in ocean currents due to climate change could trigger a tipping point, threatening the stability of this critical system that regulates climate patterns across the northern hemisphere. Such a collapse would lead to sudden, wide-reaching impacts that are difficult, if not impossible, to reverse, cautions MIT oceanography professor Rafael Ferrari. The implications of a weakened AMOC are profound, potentially resulting in rapid sea level rise along the U.S. East Coast, increased storm intensity, and shifts in weather patterns across the globe. While researchers remain hopeful that the AMOC may exhibit resilience, the consensus is clear: urgent action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions is essential to mitigate the risk of catastrophic climate change. As the scientific community grapples with these pressing challenges, from the mysteries of consciousness to the pervasive threat of microplastics and the delicate balance of ocean currents, one thing is certain: the pursuit of knowledge and understanding will continue to shape our future in profound ways. The intersection of technology, biology, and environmental science presents both opportunities for innovation and urgent calls to action as we navigate the complexities of our rapidly changing world.